Yeah, at most I'll take 20 minutes to be able to get that done. Great. So welcome to this webinar. Big question. The real cost of lunch, is it really worth it? Business Daily ran an article in their newspaper, which is yesterday, which was Tuesday. And this question came up. It caught our attention and asked, is this really a good way to save money? And that's why we are having this webinar today. For those of us who've not been able to join us, no worries. You can listen to this recording at your own time. 20 minutes of your time will be done, and we'll have picked enough insights into this. The first one, there's a group that says it is important to carry lunch. It saves me money. We ran a poll today, 23 people responded, and 17 of them said, yes, it's important to carry food. It saves me money. Of course, another three said it's no, it doesn't help me. There is another, I think, five who said, I'm somewhere in the middle. I think four or five who say that. There are advantages of carrying food. And for us to interpret it in two ways, there is a savings element and there is a health element. And I'll be showing you something around making this an investment. For those who say they want to carry food, let's just translate that into 300 shillings a day or 300 shillings for a meal. So maybe the fact that you're carrying food, let's assume you're able to save 300 shillings. The power of compounding is great. So you say the earlier you pack your lunch, the bigger the savings grow. And I'll be showing you that in a slide that's coming up. 300 shillings can help you do a lot. I'll be explaining that. So it's a pure saving. And some people wonder, is 300 shillings even worth the trouble? We'll be going through that today. Number two, the other reason you might want to carry food is your health. We say healthy body is a healthy wallet. Most of the time, especially in the urban areas, the kind of food that we get is junk food. Now, junk food once in a while is okay. I am not anywhere near a medic or a nutritional expert, but at least I've read enough and known to know that junk food continually is not good for your health. When you look at the budget and how much you can get for decent food, or rather decent amount, it will either be junk food. Sometimes I've even seen you might go to the local kibanda. I go there sometimes myself, nothing wrong with it, but you're not too sure how this food has been prepared. If you have a sensitive tummy, you might end up getting an infection. Also, and again, you realize sometimes you hear stories around the meat in Nairobi butcheries, and I don't even want to go there. You realize it starts affecting your health. For you to get good food actually costs you money. And the last one is that later on in your life, what you're investing today in your own health translates into how your future life will be. Is this webinar taking a medical direction? Maybe not. It is because one of the things that people budget for is healthcare. How much do you spend on your healthcare? Whether it's insured or you're not insured, it is actually costly. So at the end of the day, you might end up saving yourself future visits to the hospital. These are the proponents of the fact that you can actually gain from carrying packed lunch. But let's get the balance going. There are people who say, no, not for me. When you look around, peer pressure manenos, this thing is real. We can't ignore we are social beings. Some of us are corporate. So you have to maintain a certain image or even how people move around. If you look at the article that was in the Business Daily and you go through it, the men they are saying they've had actually to deal with this. You're being taunted. You're not going to enjoy. Okay, sometimes people are going out for their lunch and someone asks you, do you want to go for lunch with us? And you're saying no. Why? Because you have a small bunch you've packed here. It is real. We can't ignore it. So we have to give credit and we have to give voice to have a balanced view in this debate. So people say peer pressure, I have an image to maintain, but as you see, that is wearing off. People are actually embracing that even more there. Time is money. The time it takes for you to prepare the food you're preparing to carry to work is actually a factor to consider. What I've seen most clients tell me is that they prepare enough food the previous day. So it's not like they're going to prepare lunch. It is probably the supper they had the previous day. They took time to make it a little bit more so that then they have enough to just pack, go to the office nowadays, their microwaves, they just microwave it and move on. But sometimes you want to trade off. I've been in situations where I need that time more than I can, more than I need the savings on the food. So I'll spend 500 shillings on a meal cooked by someone else or prepared elsewhere because that 30 minutes is so important to something else I'm doing, maybe a report or a client meeting or even anything I'm doing. So there's that part that not all the time must you take the saving on the food, especially if the time is more valuable for you. And of course, the third one, impulse inflation. Should you forget, then sometimes it catches you unawares, then you actually end up spending more. So those are the people who say we don't feel like carrying food helps. I just thought to look up and see why would someone not want to carry food. But that's the first part of this webinar, just introduction, just to delve deep. But I know we've been joined by a few more guests. Thanks for joining in. I see Thian is in. I think also saw Beatrice jump in. Karibuni sana. If you have any question or comment, please put it in the chat. We are happy to help you. Great. Now let's go to the personal finance bit. Because as you know, Kibeti and Kibeti community is all about money. So let's translate this into money. Watch with me carefully what 300 shillings can do. If you take 300 shillings and you manage to put it aside daily, you can use whatever method you want to use. That amount of money is enough for you to take a holiday at the end of the year because it will be 109,000. Believe it or not, 109,000, just the equivalent of a meal a day. And you can do a lot. Maybe school fees for the next term is paid up. Or if you have a vehicle, you've probably done full service, repainted it, and changed all the wheels, and you're looking as sparkling as everybody else. It's quite some money. But there is something about finance called compound interest. So today we thought to just share that with numbers. If you look at my screen, the amount I'm talking about is 109. But let's just extend it a little bit. So you've taken the holiday, you've seen it works. You have a system that works, you're able to put it aside. You can even decide to put it per month. But for 5 years, these numbers start to look interesting. 109,000 shillings per year for 5 years is 547,000. 547,000 is a plot of land or deposit for a house. Or you could actually, that's half a vehicle. Now you start getting a longer term view to what 300 shillings can do. So there's a figure I'm calling there future value. There's a figure I'm calling interest rate. There's the figure I'm calling time in years. It's advisable for you to put that money in an investment solution and not taking risks. You can take a very simple thing like a money market fund. It is relatively safe. It is secure. But your money grows every day. They compute interest per day. So now, if you look at this, the 547 that you put aside, if you're to put it in a money market fund that is giving you 8%, 8% is very doable. Over 5 years, you actually get a gain of 94,893. This is what we call passive income. You don't have to be doing anything. You could be out there working and this money is growing for you. It means after 5 years, you'll be having 642,000. The 547 you put plus 94,000 gaining compounding. Let me pause here. Take us to the chat section. What would you do with 642,000 shillings? This is not debt. Please go to the chat section. Let's have fun. You have already managed to put aside just 300 shillings a day, disciplined for 5 years. I'll take the first two answers on the chat. What would you do with 642,000 shillings 5 years from today? Let's get a few answers here, and then I'll take you to, we'll grow it, but let's first of all pause there. 109 has taken you to the holiday. 642,000. What would you do with that kind of money? We have Esther, we have Beatrice, we have Diane, we have Edward. Please let us know, what would you do with 642,000? Wow. Edward is investing in Honeycoin. Now he's gone into investment mode. I like that. I like that. Maybe, Edward, you'll tell us what Honeycoin is in the chat. Would want to hear that. Esther is taking a vacation. Ile 109 ilikuwa kidogo. 642, she's taken a vacation. Now a proper one. Probably even travel outside this country. You even carry your family. That can work. Carry your friends. It can work very well. Beatrice would diversify her investments. She's thinking, I will actually invest more. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is what 300 shillings can do. However, that is what we call the starter level. That is very, very basic. Christine Diani says, wow, she will run and invest in land. I agree with you. 642K is a plot of land. Look around, you'll get it. Nasi Deni, it is money you've put aside, the equivalent of lunch money. So you realize the discussion is moving from lunch. It's now moved from savings. It started to point towards investments and dreaming. But I have 3 more levels I want to show you. That was a starter level. Next level, let's think generationally. Instead of working with 5 years, let's work for 30 years. So Kenon, who will wait for 30 years? I can tell you, at this point, you're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the next generation that's coming. The same amount of money, 300 shillings a day for 30 years. Let's do the math again. You'll have put aside 3.2 million. If you take a calculator, 109,500 times 30 years, you get 3.2 million. Now, let's talk about compounding. This is where the magic happens. Your money will have grown by 9 extra million. So that when you go to your bank account, maybe rather not you, when your children or your next generation goes to their bank account, they'll find 12,404 Kenya shillings, pesa taslim. That is what 300 shillings can do. Now, of course, I know inflation is alive. So, of course, you're saying at least you're beating inflation. I know inflation right now is hovering around 4%, but 8% also you're being conservative. There are some money market funds that will give you 12. And by the way, if you put 12 in these numbers, it becomes a different story. But we're keeping it at 8 so that at least you're beating inflation. I will not ask us to go to the chat to say what 12 million can do because I have 2 more levels. Now, every time I do this math, I always recheck it. Is it really true? And it's true. Now, if you want to take a savings journey, team up with friends. What if you're able to team up with 9 friends so that it's 10 of you doing the exact same thing, 300 shillings a day for 30 years? These numbers become 10 times. Not only are they becoming 10 times, you're gaining the power of synergy. When you work with different people, of course, like-minded people, now you're talking about what can we actually do with 124 million. 124 million, not debt. So imagine 10 people sitting around a table 30 years from today. If you have a 5-year-old, they'll be 35. It's not far, guys. It's not far. A 5-year-old will just have finished campus, maybe gotten married, and they probably have their first child. it is not impossible. What was that again? 300 bob. Okay. Edward, you let me know if my network is okay. You let me know if my network is okay there, Mr. Edward, or whether I need to check it out again. You let me know.
Yes, it's already okay. So, welcome back, Kenan. I think we were just in amazement as to how the power of compounding can really be something. It's not even like 100 years, just 30 years, the amount of money that we can be able to do with just 300 Kenya shillings. Yeah, lunch too. Nijipate nimekula lunch tena. It's not fair. It's
Ah,
not fair.
but
But yes,
enjoy your
kindly
life.
proceed. Nijipate nimekula lunch tena, by the way.
That's correct. Yeah.
All
But
right.
this is a discussion that excites me. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm putting up on these slides is very doable. As we say always in Mwalimu Biashara, what we need is a power of continuity, consistency. And when you see the Kibeti community, it's going to take a lot of shape as we move on. These are some of the things we want to help you with. How can you lock in a habit that puts aside 300 shillings a month? The last level that makes me also think twice is something we call super rich. Super rich. At this point, you're not chasing small dreams for the same lunch money. Let's just do 100 years. Just allow me to just walk with you through that journey. Clearly, this is not for you. Very few of us will live 100 years. But it means you can plan to be super rich. And by the way, the more the years you put, the bigger the magic. These figures here called super rich are very real. It is the same 300 shillings. Remember, you're not even increasing chakula ya leo ni 300. Chakula ya 10 years ni 600. We are still working with 300 because you want to counter inflation. So you put 300 shillings a day for 100 years. Obviously, this is not for you, but look at how these numbers play out. You'll have put aside 10.9 million. If you take a calculator today, 109,500 100 years is 109 million, 109,000. Sorry, 10.9 million. This figure called future value there is scary, but it's also true. It is not a typo. It is not in Uganda shillings. It is in Kenya shillings. It is 3 billion. It is 3 billion Kenya shillings. My mic is still on. My video is still on. I just want things to sink. There's a level the super rich operate, and the secret is consistency and time. I can guarantee you, in 100 years, your children's children will find 3 billion shillings in that account, the equivalent of lunch money. These figures balloon after 50, 60 years. It is incredible. So the challenge is most of us think about 1 year or 5 years, or even if you're bold enough, we think about the 30. The takeout in today's webinar is that 300 shillings can get your generations super rich. I think let me just pause here. I also like breathing because these figures get me charged up. Maybe a comment from one or two of us. You can put in the chat or you can speak in the microphone. What do these numbers speak to you? What do you think about these numbers? Edward has just started saying, ajipate akikula tena. So Ed, I'll tell you another angle of personal finance: increase your income. Just get 300 shillings more. Continue eating the food you're eating, but just get slightly more and be disciplined. But let me pause and get any feedback on this before I take you to the last thing I want us to share today. Then we close the webinar. Anybody with a comment, please put it in the chat. Feel free to switch on your microphone. Would want to hear from you. Would like to hear from you. Diani, I hear you. In the chat, you're saying speechless for now. Very true. That's where I am. It's just actually speechless. One thing I have researched as Africans is we need to start doing this. We need to start getting a longer term view to things, me included, by the way. And I can tell you, I'm in a quest. I may not have to explain every personal plan. But the thing is to get this viewpoint. Esther is saying it's an interesting angle for me. I'm getting the idea to cut unnecessary costs and channel it to my future generations. Exactly. And Esther is it's not much you're cutting. It's just kidogo. Of course, we have tools that help us do this math. If you change this figure to 1,000 a day, it will go crazy. But thanks a lot for that, Esther, right there. So take out 300 bob can do a lot for you. The last thing that I want to show you, let's make it practical. Remember, at Mwalimu Biashara, we not only tell you what to do, we show you how to do it. I know most of us by now maybe might have the Kibeti mobile app. We have embedded something in Kibeti which I want to demonstrate to you. It is free of charge for you to see what you can do about these goals. Edward is going to put the link on the chat there for those of us who've not had Kibeti. But for me, I'll just share my screen here and show you a few things, because after we take this webinar today, so what? The so what happens in Kibeti and in the Kibeti community. But let me share my screen and show you something quite interesting here. If you've not had a chance to download it, this is a good time to download it. Let me share my screen right here. Okay. Do that. Yes, as you can see now, this is my phone. We like doing this so that we can demonstrate. I'll go to Kibeti. If you have yours, it's a good time to open. There's a place in Kibeti you can actually practically set these goals. If you go to the homepage of Kibeti, you have something written, my goals, my goals. If you click on that goal, we now want to make it very practical. So of course, the first slides I was showing you figures, but this time we're starting with goals. Let's assume I want to buy a car. I want to buy a car for, say, 1.8 million. Interesting. Anytime you have a goal, set a date for it. A goal becomes alive when you set a date for it. Let's assume I want to do it in a year. So I'll come here and say 2026, 13th of August. When I get a plan, Kibeti is designed to now give you how do you walk the journey. If I click on it, it means if I start with a daily plan and I put aside 4,932 daily, it means in 1 year, I will buy my car cash. Now, Canon, what do you mean? We are proponents of saving than spending. Of course, depending on the level of life that you're in, even me, I've had to take loans. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can start twisting it around and say, at what point will I actually start saving and buying what I need to buy? Maybe you find maybe this is not doable. You can always edit and say, okay, fine. What if I give myself 2 years instead of 1 year. So in that case, I'll go to 2027 and say 2 years from today, if I started this plan, where would I be? It would mean now then start saving 2,466 per day. If it's per month, 73,000. This is built in Kibeti for you to do a scenario. That goal you want to achieve, that place you want to go. This is a tool that has been given for you to play around with. At this point, again, as I said, there are parts of Kibeti that are completely free of charge. This is actually free of charge. There are places where if you want to get the premium version, now how do you track this goal? We're asking you to pay the 300 shillings per month. 300 shillings per month, then you start tracking these goals. But I thought to show you what we've done in Kibeti. Of course, you can set as many goals that you want. You can say, not only do I want to buy a car, I want to probably take a holiday. I've seen that. Maybe I want to take a 200,000 shillings holiday, but this one is going to be happening maybe by Easter. Let's say 31st of March. What do I need to do between now and Easter so that I'm able to take a holiday of 200,000 shillings? Here we go. Just put aside 870 shillings a day consistently. You're home and dry. Then when Easter comes, you're actually taking your holiday in cash. So ladies and gentlemen, there's an inbuilt feature there. Please go ahead and use it. Play around with it. Give us feedback. We are happy because I know you are the first few people who are helping us develop this product so that we can reach the masses, so that we can help as many people as possible. If you have any question, any feedback, put it in the chat. If you have something you like, please go to Kibeti community and say, I like this. If you have something to challenge us, we are open. Please challenge us because we want to grow and grow with you. But I thought to show you that bit in Kibeti that is available for you to enjoy. This brings the end of this webinar because it don't take a lot of your time. It was nice having you. I hope by now we are convinced that 300 shillings can actually do wonders if you do it consistently. Later on now, yeah, we partner with different people. How do we do it? I'll tell you, there are so many tools in the market you can use. There's a tool called Chooms. It's a mobile app, just like Kibeti. Start Chooms. It gives you an opportunity to actually do what we're saying. Mshwari, it works very well. Safaricom, ZD. I'm giving you the ones that are very easy for you to start with. But also you can start your money market fund. We'll give you a few proposals. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the chat. As Edward is making his concluding remarks, you can start investing in your money market fund today. All these are methods you can start putting aside your 300 shillings or 800 shillings or 9,000 shillings, whatever works for you. Asanteni sana, it was great having you. Thanks a lot for honoring us with your time. And we hope this was useful in this webinar. So over to you, Edward. I see you have a question from Esther. Maybe it's a good place for you to start as you explain to us what Honeycoin is, Mr. Edward. Over to you.
All right, sawa. So thank you so much, Canon, for that amazing explanation. Personally, I'm just impressed as to how the power of compounding can be very, very powerful. It starts quite slow and it starts like a mustard seed, something that you do not see. But then when you look at it 5, 10, 30 years down the line, then you see you can be somewhere far off. And it's something that is quite amazing. So, as you said, I'll just make the final conclusion. I think I'd like to start with Esther. Esther is asking, hii mambo ya Honeycoin ni nini? Ni coin yenye inapatikana ndani ya Honey. Should I start now keeping bees in my home? Esther, no, that is not the case. Honeycoin ideally is a fintech company that is based on facilitating money transactions across border payments using stable coins. Like, for example, if you can be able to start sending money from here all the way to the UK, to Canada, to the Asians, and to whichever states that you want. So it's a place where which is able to give you very small transaction fees. And ideally, you can be able to start sending money from whichever place. So as we'd like to say it, we have like the traditional ways of how you can be able to invest, and then we have like now the proper modern ways of how you can be able to start investing. So Honeycoin was wanted to be able to raise a seed capital so that they can be able to venture into other continents so that it can become a global money transfer kind of an organization. And ideally, they were able to raise around 4.2 million, that is USD, so that they can be able to start their transaction. So ideally, it was a place where people can start investing and can be able to start putting their money in the best possible way. So I hope that has ideally cleared that what Honeycoin is. It's ideally just a way of how people can be able to start investing in a good manner, like how people are investing in Mansa X, how people are investing in Tesla. So you're just looking into ways of how you can just take your money instead of it being in any particular place, you can be able to see it investing. But as always, like how our financial coach normally tells us, you can take it, put it in a money market fund, let it not rot there, but let it stay until a certain amount which you feel is a certain threshold. And how can you be able to know that threshold has been able to be attained? It is by the use of the Kibeti app with the goals that you are setting. So I think I can see a lot of intertwining as to how we can be able to start making our goals and how ideally we can use the Kibeti community to be able to get the 9 of us, the 3 of us, the 2 of us, the 1 of us, but ideally one is just but a number. But we can be able to start this journey and we can be able to grow it in the best possible way. That is it from us. I can see Kenan has shared the money market link with Ethica Capital. Thank you, Kenan, for sharing that. And we shall be able to use that as our own. Guys, it has been amazing. It has been real. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Christine, Tiani, and thank you, Esther, for being able to continue with us. Kenan, you have like the final remarks of it. We can be able to go as you can respond to Christine's question.
I actually wanted to highlight something about investment options. Investment options
Mhm.
are these are a very, very technical subject. We shy away from giving people investment advice generally. Of course, the question that has come from Honeycoin is a good one. It's been handled well, but we usually have an investment masterclass. Every month we sit and we go through investments in depth. Again, if this interests you, we can always invite you to join our investment masterclass. I think Edward will take note of the people in the webinar today and we'll give you a link. It costs you 5,000 bob, but it's 5,000 bob that is very well spent. We go into the depths of investments proper. We align that with your personal goals. And at the end of the session, you actually have an investment master plan personalized to you, whether it's Esther or Beatrice or Christine, because we are all at very different levels. That's something you actually might want to consider. Edward will share that information with you. I thought to make that disclaimer because anytime we give investment advice as professionals, we refrain from giving advice that you cannot take and run with. I know I've put the MMF link with Ethica Capital, one of our partners there. That's a no-brainer. I can tell you, money market fund is a safe place to start for any investor. You can put your money there for a few days, for years, whatever, however you want to do it. It's regulated, it is safe, and there are many in the market. It's just that I'm giving you the one that I feel is giving good returns this season. As little as 1,000 shillings, you're able to start. It's all online. You don't have to fill forms or make trips. Just click on that link there and you can invest straight. However, if you're interested in the investment masterclass, we should be able to share that information with you. Asanteni sana. Back to you, Edward. Esther is asking, does the investment class
Great.
include how to
Thank you,
trade
Kenan,
in
for that.
stocks? Yes, so Esther, the way we do the investment masterclass, we actually tackle investing in stocks. We also connect you, just like I'm connecting you to Ethica now, we connect you with a few people who do it because we don't do it. Mwalimu Biashara, we are not licensed to take your money. We are not licensed to be fund managers. We are licensed to be financial trainers, literacy. But now, after we train you and you know what to do, then we can connect you with people in the market who we have worked with before, and now they can take you through the journey of investing in stocks. So, Esther, that is how we structure that. I'm hoping that has answered your question. Before that, we saw Christine was saying today's webinar has been aligned perfectly with the savings plan I just started. Great. It was so timely. Asante. Esther, I see the thumbs up there. Also to mean that your question has been answered well. Back to you, Ed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the engagement. It's been a lively session. And thank you once again for ensuring that we have been able to stick within the time parameters. I hope that this has been an eye-opener, and we are going to share this recording, as you said. And the beauty of it is you can be able to listen to it again and again and again, and just get to understand ideally the power of compounding interest. This is my parting shot because we were still going back to the food. So when you're in the office now and someone comes and puts their lunchbox in that, in the microwave, and then abonyeze the kidude, and then it starts wailing and going round and round and round. And then the whole office in Anuko Omena, don't look at that person vibaya. Don't give him that bombastic side eye, because this is person who probably has an investment idea, and they are making sure that you smell that Omena, because 10 or 20 years down the road, he will be somewhere or she will be somewhere. The question is, where will you be when that time comes? That has been my parting shot. I've been your financial trainer, Paul Edward Mwangi from Mwalimu Biashara. Thank you so much, Kenon. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Esther, for this amazing session. We shall call it a night, and let's continue the engagement on the Kibeti community. Asanteni sana. God bless. Have a good night. Thank you.